This episode is sponsored by Stingray Tattoo Supply. Take your shop to the next level with our premium hydraulic barber chairs built for comfort, durability, and smooth performance. Perfect for barbers and tattoo artists who demand the best. Sleek, sturdy, professional. Get yours today at stingraytattoo.net. This is the chairman and the artist, where vision meets creation. Let's talk. My name is Rafael. Welcome back. This is the Chariot and the Artist. Today we got a guest with us. I wish I could tell you all kinds of stuff, but really I don't know too much about this fucker. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself, and then that way maybe next time I'll take some notes. Introduce yourself, homie.
Let me introduce myself.
Yes, please.
My name is Hugo Alvaro Alejos, mostly known as El Mono. I'm from Southern California, Long Beach to be precise. And now I'm a...
Career-wise, what are you?
Career-wise, I'm a tattooer.
You're a tattooer.
Trying to be an artist.
Tattoo artist slash craftsman.
There you go.
Okay. And where'd you start tattooing? Where was your where was this little dream that you decided I'm gonna get into this fucking business? How'd you get into it? What was your story on that?
Oh my God, that's a good question because it just.
How old were you when was it something around you all the time, or
you know
something
what?
that you?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I was probably 5 or so. I was little.
So that's when you were exposed to
That's
tattoos.
when exactly. When I was
that was
exposed to tattoo.
somebody in your family heavily tattooed.
It was
or?
mostly like my dad's friends and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know, so I'm pretty sure in many neighborhoods, a lot of people hang out, drink, hang out, whatever.
I think I was around 12 or 13 when I first saw my first tattoo.
What did you see?
It was a parrot.
Okay.
A colorful green parrot. But it's fucking trippy that no matter what the tattoo back in the day, it was Rebel.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm seeing this motherfucker with a tattoo, but he's just to me, a normal guy talking with my dad, having a conversation.
Yeah.
And he had this tattoo, you know. It's just a nice, cool little parrot. But I was fascinated by the ink under the skin and stuff like that. I think that was my first fascination of seeing a real tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, there was no tattoos of magazines, no tattoos.
Nothing.
No commercials with tattoos. You know, there was no tattoo exposure to the in the media or anything.
Yeah.
So you had to see it live.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and then my next exposure was I was in high school, homie.
Oh yeah.
And my brother, who happened to work at the time for the disposal, read into a magazine and brought it home and said, "Hey, check out this crazy book." And it was actually a outlaw biker book.
Okay.
And it had a bunch of bikers. And back in the day, bikers, you know, it's like, wow, these guys are in magazines. So we were fascinated by the outlaw bikers, you know, and so and in the end of this thing, it has a little 3 or 4 page of tattoos. Tattoo flash and tattoo collected biker, you know, tattoos. So that was my first. I still got the thing. Not trace, but I
try to mock it.
Mock it or copy it, but I had to still draw it, you know.
Right.
So I drew all the stuff from that book into my you know, in school you get these little folders where you're supposed to keep your stuff. And well, I decorated the whole fucking thing with all kinds of biker stuff and this and that.
Oh yeah.
And I remember a kid coming up to me and says, "When you grow up, you're gonna be a tattoo artist, bro." And I'm like,
"Oh, is that right?"
"Fuck no, you crazy? Do you see this? This is phenomenal. There's no way I can ever do that.
Yeah.
That's master. Are you fucking out of your mind?"
Yeah.
Never that I thought I'd be doing that, you know. That he actually saw it in me, you know, and that was a pretty cool little compliment also from a fellow student, you know.
Yeah, same kind of similar story. It was my dad's friend. He had a portrait of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So back in those days, a porch was like, oh man, that chingón, güey.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's something, and it's something to admire.
Right, right, right.
You know?
And whether it was good or not, it was a portrait,
Yeah.
and you knew that was Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was mind blowing. And I was like, how did you get that? Y pues el vato me dice, oh, con pura aguja y tinta. And I was like, no way, yeah. And I, as a little kid, you're like, wow, like, that's pretty crazy. That's brave. Like, man, just to even get stabbed is hurts.
Yeah.
But that was my first like tattoo kind of experience that kind of opened up my wow, they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I think you start paying attention to the local security guards, so-called cholos.
Oh well, yeah. You come from Cholo land.
Yeah.
Over here, when I started tattooing, when I had a high school guy who told me, he tattooed himself with Indian ink and a needle.
Yeah.
So he told me how he did it, and this kid told me how to do it. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll do the same thing as homie. So I poked my fucking hand, and at the time I was stalking what is now my wife, and I was like a stalker, and I wasn't letting her go. And I love you,
Yeah.
So I tattooed my wife's initial on me.
Oh, okay.
And that started off right away. No more than a couple of months later, you got American Me coming out.
Oh, okay.
And one of the scenes in American Me was homie getting tattooed, a placazo right there.
Yeah.
So every other motherfucker in the hood, hey man, can you do my initial? Can you do this? And this was the area to do, not knowing that we were doing something very big and taboo.
Yeah.
I was just fucking getting anybody that would let me practice on them with a needle and thread. And back in the day, I was doing a needle and thread.
It's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big thing, but
it's just part.
It's part of
the culture, I
the
guess.
culture
I don't know,
of
but,
the neighborhood. Really, it's really what it is. You know what I mean? And just like how people are very proud of their states and their countries. And, some of us were proud of our little neighborhood. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
At the time, I didn't understand it, cabrón, because I come from Mexico.
Okay.
We came to Reno. And Reno, there was no gang life here.
Okay, got it.
That didn't come till late 80s, early 90s. And that was when a big flux of Californians moved to the Nevada area and this and that. And now, back in the day, they were just promoting the fuck out of gangs when it came to social. You had them on Oprah, you had them on this, you had them on that.
On everything.
So everybody wanted to be the next gang member. And then we also had this badass magazine. I don't know if you remember, but it was called Teen Angel.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
So Teen Angel, for us as Mexicans, that was the only place where we could find Chicano art or art that we related to.
Right. Right.
Me drawing all that biker stuff, I was just amazed that I could do it. But at the same time, people were like, "Why are you drawing that?" It's like, "'Cause it's fucking cool."
Right.
But there's culture behind some of the art, and so.
Correct.
The Teen Angel magazines, that's where I would find flash so I could do tattoos on the homies in the hood, And back in the day, I was just tattooing homies that were getting all suddenly initiated into little gangs, miniature. But these little gangs became more and more problematic. But I was just tattooing this homie from this gang, this homie from this other gang. And I was exposed to that, but I was trying to get any victim. Anybody that fucking would step up to
down, you would do it.
Once I think, did you get addicted when you first started?
I did. When I got tattooed and when I started tattooing.
Yeah, isn't it fucking weird how we get addicted to tattooing?
It is. It just becomes like this. I don't want to say a trend, but it does become like you're part of something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
especially
back then.
It's still now. We're still part of a unique individuals and this and that. Because when it comes to tattoos, you still have to respect what should be tattooed and what not, and all that. If somebody comes in here and wants, like right now, gang tattoos are looked at way different
than
back in the day. And especially now that we see the potential of what all of these gangs evolved to, in recent history.
Right.
And now they really see, all these tattoos, what they mean, and how you earn them and stuff like that. Versus just going into your local tattoo studio and picking one on the wall. That's commercial art. That's commercial tattooing. Versus,
that's a whole different ball game too.
Yeah. Versus the underground,
the
underworld culture and stuff like that. And luckily I got educated on that. I got educated on all the meanings behind all these symbols and stuff like that. You start, you see somebody with a symbol like this, you can even ask them, hey, are you related? Or you can use this word, and if they respond, they're like, "Oh shit, this motherfucker bona fide." I think I just need to respect my homie and say hello, how you doing?
Exactly.
But and people that really know the meanings, others that I don't know, this just means this. They're like, okay, this motherfucker is not dangerous at all.
This guy is no social club.
So you started,
it's a whole different ball game now. Yeah.
And how old were you when you started messing around with?
I want to say in like 11 or so.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, I was really young, but again, I think because of that portrait, I was so connected to it, and it's just something that it lingered over years. You know what I mean? I got tattooed when I was 11, and then I started tattooing like at 13, 14, but it wasn't like professional. It was
it's
homemade.
In the hood. Somebody homemade. Teaching you how to do the prison style, or what they called it back in the day, garage. Or if you had a prison people that came out of the prison, like my brother, that's how we got a hold of learning how to make homemade rotary machines. Because we were connected to some of these guys that were in the gang life, and all of a sudden one of them comes out of prison and he tells us the recipe of how to do this. He even tells us the recipe of how to make prison ink, we can say.
Te vuelves ingeniero. You know what I mean?
So we were fascinated, and we're also fascinated, just like anybody, prison stories fascinates people, it fascinates the right or the wrong, or if you're playing in the mischief life, it's like, what is it like to go in there? You always wonder, like, if I fuck up, I know I'm gonna end up there.
Exactly.
And I need to know whether I'm gonna fucking come out fucking serious or I'm gonna come out a bitch.
Yeah, that is hilarious. But tattooing has been quite of a big part of my life for sure, since a young age, and I just been in the tattoo world that it just becomes a lifestyle for me. I don't think I've ever saw it as business.
At what point did you decide to move into a professional shop, or was it something that you grew into it, or something that you went and looked for it?
So I fucked around for a couple of years, right? My high school years, on just poking and just doing gibberish. Okay. By the time I was right after high school, that's when I was like, you know what? I really want to do this. I want to take it professional. And then I went to this, I just went around, see who would teach me, man. But at this time, it was...
How was it at that time?
It was very like, nope, no, that's pendejo, bye. This is not for... Getting in was,
was not easy.
Guess
what, homie? When I met, I'm going to say his name, and I don't give a fuck if people get mad. But homie, when I met Kelly, prior to meeting Kelly, I got into a local shop here in town. Which I literally, on the way out, got kicked out in the ass.
No way.
Wow. And don't ever come back here asking for fucking how to get ink. Those kind of secrets were very fucking, needle making was very fucking secretive. I remember we had to earn our way to seeing how needle making is done. It wasn't just given to you.
For sure.
So the needle making was a big fucking trade. And whether you knew how to make needles or not, that was your fucking brush.
Right.
And if you didn't make the right needle the right way, you're gonna hurt your client. Your art is gonna suffer. So that was a big fucking thing back there. That was a big trade secret. And then, I got tattooed by Kelly, and we got to kind of know each other. As you tattoo people, you kind of can feel what these fuckers legit or not. Me and Kelly went we right away we became pretty good at clicked. But at the time, he actually didn't trust me a lot.
Yeah,
You know, and it took me about 3 years to gain his trust. It wasn't something that it happened overnight.
yeah.
It took 3 years for me to come by the shop, stop by, go get coffee, or stop by the shop and say hi to Kelly. And then he
Just to see how you roll, really.
and because he wasn't, you know, he didn't have a full crew. He was like, "Hey, man, do you mind? I'm gonna go get coffee. Keep an eye on the shop." Oh shit! Oh yes, Kelly. And I would stand there, and it was so cool for him to trust me that way. But he would come back, and then, all right, you know, thank you, and we built that trust. It wasn't done overnight.
Yeah,
You know, and then after that trust was built, you know, one day I came in and I told him, "Hey, I wanna show you what I can do." And he says, "All right, bring somebody." And then I showed him, and he's like, "You're stupid." Well, not stupid, but like, really, you came in to, you had a chance to show me. You showed me a stupid roast.
Yeah.
Is that what you're really gonna impress me with?
Yeah.
And I thought I was gonna impress him. Oh man, I felt like a fucking idiot. You know.
But I bet it was the best, right?
But
For
it,
you.
no, that
Yeah,
motherfucker
yeah.
challenged me, so it's like, I'll show you in a way.
No, okay.
And then later, yeah, I actually, you know, one day he said, "You want to start working here on the weekends?"
No,
You know what it's like to be told you got a job, like you want to start working here on the weekends.
yeah.
And then later he got all mad at me. "Hey, you coming in on the weekends only? You fucking only taking the cream out of the fucking cake? Why don't you start coming in all week?" Being told that you're going from part-time to full-time, holy shit, it was fucking like, what the fuck? This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just a challenge after a challenge. You know, that was my entry
Yeah.
into the professional world. It wasn't easy. You know, people may think, you know, you should be able to just go in there and ask for it. You know, my apprenticeship, sooner or later, I had to pay with sweat, blood, and tears.
Yeah. Same
You
here.
know?
Yeah.
You know, even if it wasn't financial, but I also saw Kelly charging apprenticeship and what he would charge, and he told me what to charge and stuff like that, you know. And but these were trade secrets. These were things that back in the day it was very, you know, just like you watch. I don't know if you ever watch that show, How It's Made,
No.
or yeah, I think it's How It's Made. I watch the show.
Okay.
And then every area, today we're going to show you how Nabisco makes their product. But at this point, it's a secret recipe. We can't show you the rest.
Oh, okay.
We were protecting secret recipes.
Yeah.
Needle making was a recipe that we were protecting.
Yeah.
Now that motherfucker, you can get it anywhere.
Anywhere.
You can fucking get it at Walmart. You can get it on fucking Facebook. You can get it on fucking Instagram. You can get
Your
it wherever
neighbor.
the fuck. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know, in
Yeah.
case you don't know how fucking grateful you motherfuckers should be when it comes to this needle shit, back in the day, it wasn't fucking easy. You would burn your fucking fingers. You would fucking smell that shit coming up through your nose, fucking burning the fuck out of your eyes.
Yeah.
Man, you motherfuckers don't even know what the fuck we gone through. Anyway, let's go back. That should be bad for those motherfuckers who don't know how to make needles.
We just got censored.
No, it's okay. That shuts up. I'll turn it on in a second so we can
That's
see
hilarious.
ourselves. But yeah, that's really how it is. Homie.
No, it really did happen like that, and back in those days, it was no joke. It was no joke.
No.
People were very, very secretive of a lot of things.
Whole lot of trade secrets slowly started being exposed by the internet. You know,
Yeah.
from
no,
all
it
points
did.
of view, you know,
Yeah.
people recording videos, people doing this and that, not knowing that we're letting out trade secrets.
Right.
You know,
right.
which is okay. I mean, we can't protect them no more. I mean,
Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, it is what it is. You have to
Right.
evolve with it. You know,
Exactly.
if you don't evolve, you're gonna live an angry life.
So yeah, for sure.
You
For
know.
sure. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, I understand it. But I sometimes people need to know a little bit of history of, you know,
Oh,
of,
for sure.
of what it took to do a piece and all that. It wasn't just let's put a 15 mag and this and that and
And let's go. Yeah,
go to work. You know.
I started off actually tattooing with 5-liner and a 3-liner. That was my line work. That was my coloring. That was my shading.
How big was your tubes?
No, actually, they were yay thin.
5/8.
Yeah. They were like so tiny, and then I'm like, damn. And then next thing you know, you see another tattooers with the 1-incher. You're like, oh man, yeah. I gotta upgrade.
And now they're like
Now they're fucking like bananas, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now it's crazy.
It's fucking insane how the tattoo has evolved when it comes.
But I'll
to
catch
the
myself
tubes.
tattooing with the little ones too, and I find it more
And that was the other thing, having enough tubes,
right.
having your tubes, protecting your tubes.
Protecting your tubes, yeah.
All this shit is disposable now.
Yeah, exactly.
Considering back in the day, Precious.
Yeah, no.
You're my favorite.
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was tubes.
No, yeah.
Did you have any of your
I
favorite?
had a fucking special tube just to do line work.
Yeah, you had your special shaver.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
you
no,
have
no.
to have a set of fucking 10 of them, 10 of these, 10
Yeah.
of that, so you can have roll out one right after the other.
Exactly.
You know, kick ass one right after the other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of this is it's so sad when I see all these people that have all these fucking badass tools to work with, but their talent is fucking doing TikTok dance videos.
Oh, yeah. I think we should start dancing, man.
Well, I'm very close to start doing that shit, but I just keep criticizing that shit. But at the same
That's
time,
funny.
you know, that's what gets people looking at shit like that. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's really looking at our portfolios. You know, it reminds me back in the day. You've been to conventions, right?
Correct, yes.
There's two kinds of artists. Two kinds of tattoo collectors that come up to your booth. The one that kind of
Okay, yeah.
looks through your portfolios, looking a little bit on the quality, and the other guy.
Yeah,
He's-
just rushes through. Yeah,
He's almost like pissed off. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
Can't
dude,
find his fucking tattoo. Whatever
yeah, it's
it
like,
is.
what
Yeah.
are you looking for?
What are you
Maybe I
looking
can
for?
find you. Maybe I can help you find it.
No, yeah.
But that's the same thing when it comes to right now, TikTok.
Yeah.
You spend so fucking many hours on that back piece. You posted it for somebody to just scroll.
Yeah. I don't think people know what they're really looking for.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just weird when
Of
you know,
course.
people are just scrolling to this. You know?
Yeah.
Something that took you 2 months, 3 months, a
yeah,
year.
yeah. Just to draw it up or
accomplish.
sketch it, just to even sketch it.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, yeah.
And to me, you know, I used to get mad at those clients that would just, you know, like,
Yeah.
excuse me, can you slow down? They look at you like, I'm looking for this, and then they would become a client, or you just tell them to get the fuck out. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you destroyed my fucking portfolio,
Yeah.
you fucking asshole.
Or, you know what? Yeah, there was times where I had to put my portfolio away because it was just getting ripped, just by people fucking passing it by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I had to take it off. I was like, you know what? I'm just taking this off. I'm just leaving the flash, whatever's there. You know, whatever painting I did, I'll just leave it there. And if it was sold, it would sell. You know, if
Yeah.
not, then it's all good.
When it comes to, like, I stay put in my shop, but I hear you travel, fucker. Tell me about your travels.
Oh man, where should I start? So when I came about traveling, I went to go get a job right in Long Beach. I forgot the name of the shop. I walk in there, and the guy goes, "Where have you worked?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, I worked with blah 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 blah." Back garage, backyard boogies. In other words, it wasn't professional. So he's like, you know, before you come here, I think you should do a little bit of traveling. He goes, right, for me to go travel and tattoo. And at the time, I didn't really understand what he was saying, but pretty much he was saying like, get more experience, get that out of your system. Whenever you're ready, come back and you can work here.
Were you like, because was one style you were doing only, or was
No, it was just because I was all over the place, man.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't like in one spot. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay.
I was working in Venice Beach. I was working in Rancho Dominguez. I was everywhere, man.
Venice Beach is a fucking landmark when it comes
Oh yeah,
to tattoo
Ooh,
history.
yeah, man.
I mean, you got legendary stories coming out of that fucking place. You got legendary tattoo shops.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, old timers. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's a legendary mark when it comes
really
to tattoo
is.
history.
A lot of
You know?
dudes, great artists, went there and got some good experience.
Yeah,
I got some really good experience there, working with all sorts of people, because it was a tourist spot.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you would get people from practically all over the world.
And you're doing everything and anything. You're not stuck in one style.
You're
huh?
not stuck in one style.
You know.
And so, I don't know what that guy was really looking for, but he said, hey, you know, just go travel, get it out of your system, and then, you know, whenever you're ready to settle down,
Come back.
Come back.
Well, he's probably tired of also like the ones that come and go.
come and go. Yeah,
You know.
I'm pretty sure that's what he was. Really.
One time, you know, Kelly kind of he didn't like that, but at the same time, he did like it because it's like sometimes that's the only way I can learn of what's going on out there. Because back in the day, we had no way to know what the competition is doing.
Exactly.
You had no Facebook, no Instagram,
nothing.
Nothing. You
Yeah.
know, the only thing you had was magazines. That was that was what you were shooting for.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so from there, I just took his advice, man, and I just started traveling.
Are you
I
glad?
just started traveling.
Are you glad he gave you that advice?
Actually, yeah. I'm very grateful for that.
Damn.
So from there, I started hitting up the conventions down in Mexico.
Okay.
My very first convention was, no, not my very first, like probably outside of the U.S. convention,
Okay.
was in Mexico. It's Ensenada.
Ensenada. Okay.
It was their first expo, and I don't know how I came across it, but I went down there, met some local tattooers and some tattooers from Mexicali and so.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I just networked, man. Next thing you know, I'm getting invited down to Guadalajara. You know, that's a big expo down there too.
With Sammy or
With
the Viva
Sammy,
La Tinta?
yeah.
Sammy,
With
yeah.
Sammy, yeah. Huge
I
fucking
did
expo.
2 shows with Sammy.
Yeah,
many
it's
months
a
ago.
really
Yeah.
good expo.
Well, not only that, you know, he was one of the first ones to start doing that in that area.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so,
think,
you
yeah.
know, we
He
can
was
give
one
him
of the
credit for that. We can,
Oh.
you know, Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy is tattoo history in Mexico.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And next thing you know, you meet people down in, Guadalajara. Met Sammy, and we had a really good conversation. We clicked,
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, I got invited by him to go to Costa Rica.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean?
He was traveling to Costa Rica.
He was traveling to Costa Rica because he got invited. I forgot the dudes at that convention, and so he's like, "Hey, man, we're gonna go down here. Why don't you tag along? Psst, don't even ask me twice, man." And next thing you know, I got a ticket for like $200, I think, from Mexico City to Costa Rica, and that's another story,
Well, in Costa Rica, how was the weather there?
Beautiful.
Tell me what you like
Beautiful.
about Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Don't tell me about work. I want to tell me what
man.
kind of things you saw. in
Oh
Costa
man,
Rica.
let's
me
keep
know
it
when
PG,
it comes.
I guess.
No, we're not going there, cabrón. Like landscapes, maybe what kind of.
Oh yeah, the
scenery.
landscape was
I know you're
beautiful.
gonna
It was
talk
fucking
about
beautiful.
the titty bar later, but let's talk
What are you talking about? No, Costa Rica is a really nice spot where you could be in two sides of the ocean in one day. You can be on the Pacific side, echándote una chela, enjoying some mariscos. Next thing you know, you drive to the other side, which is the Caribbean, nice warm waters.
Oh,
And
shit.
it's night and day. It really is, especially the waters. And the people down there are so beautiful. Beautiful in the sense of the way they presented themselves and everything, how they treated us as Mexicans,
Okay,
And
so it's
Very welcoming.
It's friendly for Mexicans.
friendly for
Because
Mexicans.
I've been told
yeah.
not to go to El Salvador, even though I'm married to El Salvadorian,
Well, Salvador is a whole different, yeah.
And then considering I'm over here registered as a gang member, that doesn't go well down there.
Yeah, no.
You
I
know?
think, yeah. That's way different from Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a cool spot. So we went to that convention. We rocked it. We had a great time. We met a lot of locals, and just by hanging out there and talking to people, I met some people from Panama.
Okay.
And then from there, next thing you know, I'm getting invited to Panama.
So you go to Panama.
So I go to Panama, and I, kumbaya with people. Panama's a whole different world too. You know what I mean? It's a whole different ball game.
It's funny how sometimes, like they think we're all the same, but we are different cultures.
We are different cultures,
Way
yeah.
different. The same way that the Irish can identify different from the Scottish, and the Scottish can identify different from the English. We're different over there.
Yeah,
we're way
exactly
different,
the same. Yeah, exactly.
There's
the
a
same.
reason why there's a border.
Yeah, no, yeah. No,
From
yeah.
this side to this side, they practice this. From this side to this side, they practice that.
Yeah.
It's trippy how
It's very
the
trippy.
behavior.
The behavior and indigenous culture too. Two different types,
Oh, yeah.
From Costa Rica to Panama. And then again, you meet people down in Panama. Next thing you know, guess what? You're getting invited down to Brazil.
Ah, cabrón. So you're going down to the fucking jungle.
Now you're going down to the jungles. You know what I mean?
Ay, güey.
And
was it at the edge of the jungle? Or
no,
the
actually, I got
jungle?
invited to São Paulo. São Paulo.
That's a big fucking city.
Big fucking city.
Yeah,
big fucking city.
I tattooed a guy from that place, and he always told me, "You should come. If you come, he came from a wealthy family. He was traveling and doing his tourism, coming to ski and Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe?
That's how I met him.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to Lobo. If I ever see you over there, Lobo, if you're still around. Lobo from Brazil.
Is that right?
Yeah, he would come down every year for skiing.
Just for skiing,
and that's how I would get my stories about Brazil.
Yeah,
I've never
what's going
been there,
on?
but you've been to Paulo.
Oh yeah, Paulo's. Yeah, it was really dope. And then I ended up going to Rio. From city to city. That's a whole different ballgame itself. Whole different ballgame itself.
I've been watching. I don't know if you ever seen that movie City of God.
Oh,
the
good
favelas
movie.
and seeing the poverty.
I ended up going to one of the favelas.
You went to the hood.
Yes,
over there?
I went to the hood. I went to the hood, and that's a whole different fucking story too. Outside from the
were
tourists.
they welcoming to you?
Yes, because I was actually acompañado, from a gal that actually gave everybody like, hey, está conmigo, he's cool, and that was it. You know what I mean? So she was my pass, and that was really fun itself too. Damn. But yeah, that favela is kind of like its own little neighborhood, and right away, they can smell you that you're not from there.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Probably stand out like a motherfucking dude.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Even think you can blend. Hell no! As soon as you talk or you walk different, or even your clothes.
Yeah. Even your clothes.
Your clothes are way fucking out of style, out of
Yeah.
Nobody wearing that shit anymore.
Yeah. They're already scooping you up. They're like, "Who's this guy? Who's he here with? Who?" And they're all up.
That's just the nature of humans.
Yeah. It is. It really is.
I walked
it's
into bars where everybody's fucking checking my tattoos. They're smelling me. They're fucking want to kick my ass until I know so and so, and can you go get them?
Yeah, and we're all good. Yeah.
I've been invited to a biker hangout, and the biker club didn't know that there was a fucking ugly Mexican coming with tattoos, and they were intimidating to me, and I was intimidating to them.
Yeah,
a motherfucker, walks in there just like nothing until and we can say I knew one of the head guys, and I told him, hey man, you told me to come over for a barbecue. I give tattoos out to your event all the time. I want to eat some of your fucking ribs and delicious barbecue beans, and they hooked it up, and after that I got more tattoo work out of it,
Yeah.
But at the beginning, everybody wants to see who the fuck is this motherfucker just walking in here like he owns the place,
Yeah.
And
I think that's just the nature of it, right? Wherever you go.
Yeah.
Wherever you go, we're
curious. We're curious also
curious.
to find out who the fuck this person is.
Exactly.
That's the first. That's the first nature.
A non-tourist place. That's where it becomes very interesting. So, yeah, most of these spots that I went and visited were very non-tourist. Well, and I had the best time. I
think because of your tattoo connection, mainly.
Correct. Mainly because of tattooing. So I got to meet a lot of people. We're talking about
every day, man.
We're talking about what I really want to say is that I've tattooed all walks of life, and I'm very grateful for that.
One time somebody asked me how many tattoos you do a year, and I kind of did the math, and I figured that I did about 10,000 a year.
Is that right? Wow.
And that's small tattoos.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
and it's like, fuck, bro, that's a lot of fucking motherfucking people you get to meet, know.
Yeah.
All walks of life, all walks of stories, all kinds of, the rich, the poor, the ugly, the fat, the skinny, the uncomfortable one, the one that's comfortable, everything. You meet them all, and it's just unbelievable.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what I've kind of really. I'm very grateful for that, because my whole. I don't mind. How should I say this? Meeting so many people. It opens up your mind to so many things, to where like there's no way you can shut your brain down or be very close-minded to anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Not only that, these people that you're meeting, you're doing, just like podcasting, you're doing a 2 or 3 interview, 2 or 3 hours of interview. He interviews you, you interview him. you kind of find out, what's going on with you.
Yeah.
We make conversation.
Conversation,
because
connect.
We're hurting this motherfucker for the next 2 or 3 hours. I want to let him know that I'm not mad. I may look mean or that. So I start talking. Hey, what kind of movie you're into? What are you up to? Or, what are your drives? What do you do for hobbies? Or, get them out of so they can start talking. But it becomes an interview. They're interviewing you,
right?
And you're interviewing them.
Yep. And the more questions you ask, it gets to a level where both of you guys just become vulnerable to the conversation.
Well, yeah, fucker, you're over here trying to do this tattoo, and hopefully you don't fuck up. You're vulnerable too. He's hurting, but you're vulnerable in every fucking line.
Yeah.
And this fucker's watching you. Hey, fucker, don't fuck it up.
Don't
you know what I'm saying? But it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
You may think he's just vulnerable, but we're both vulnerable.
Yeah.
From the collector to the fucking artist.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't sense that, but.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like me tattooing that kid earlier today.
Yeah.
It was his first tattoo. You know what I mean? So can you just imagine his first tattoo?
He's so young. He's got hell of a stories already.
Yeah.
He's traveled already. His family travels a lot.
He lost a friend, unfortunately.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That was a memorial tattoo, and unfortunately he lost him. Last year, 24, and.
Well, he also proudly appreciates life now, seeing when you see somebody right next to you that, oh shit, this could happen to me.
Yeah.
Then you realize, any fucking minute I'm gone too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Life becomes more. Yeah.
Yeah,
life becomes more a precious treasure than anything. And so we deal with people like that. You know what I mean? And so, am I gonna sit here and be like, don't fucking move? No. I gotta be very considerate that it is hurting this poor kid, and he just lost a friend. You gotta do your best work. You know what I mean?
I don't tell them not to move when they start moving. That's when it becomes a problem, But I understand too. There's flinching. You can't control that.
You can't control that.
You can't control the flinches. So you can't be an ass when somebody flinches and shit like that. You gotta be ready for that flinch too.
You gotta be ready for it.
Weird, especially if you know parts of the body that you're tattooing that are very vulnerable to flinching, such as like the top of the foot. People just naturally, the muscles. You
gotta be ready for it as a tattooer. Yeah. And it's funny when you see the tattoo artist being frustrated that they keep on moving. I get a kick out of it.
But at the same time,
I get a kick out of it because it's kind of like, no, man, just do the tattoo, man. They're gonna move regardless.
Yeah, and I see like you're like kind of a little close to the way I tattoo. You keep the conversation. You're going through it, but you keep the conversation.
Right.
And by keeping you relax and keeping the person relaxed, the tattoo becomes more
less likely to move,
easier.
Right.
When somebody starts tensing up and this and that, then it starts fucking becoming an issue.
Yeah.
So as an artist, you can't let this fucker get to you. You actually gotta fucking work through it.
I agree.
Working pissed off is not it's not something you want to do.
Not at all.
That's the reason. Smoke break. Smoke break. What are you doing? We're taking a smoke break. We're gonna go get high. Why? Because I'm fucking losing my temper on this fucker. He does not deserve this kind of fucking.
Yeah.
So we go outside. We take a quick smoke break and this and that. Then we come back and we get back on it.
Right.
Also, after 2 or 3 hours, you may get frustrated of the work.
Yeah. After a while, you kind of be like, you know what? Let's do another section some other time. Second session some other time.
There's some time that I myself I can only go about 3 hours. And then I have a short span, like 3 hours. After that, I'm gonna start fucking up the work. I'm not gonna work, doing my thing. So that's when I'm like, nah, I had it with this tattoo. I'm done with it for right now. Come back. We need to do another session. We do another session, and the client may say, "What the fuck you mean you're done? I'm done today, homie. I had enough.
Yeah.
I had enough of this. I'm gonna fuck it up if I continue.
Right.
We need another 24% or 20% to do this.
You gotta know.
But I needed to heal up. I needed to come back. I'm gonna work with the most fresh mind. I'm gonna come back better. Because and that's what I do. And the client has to. I let them know.
Respect that,
I let them know that there's a chance we may not finish this. I'm more concerned about the quality than
Right.
Than finishing you just because you want to show it off or what the fuck is going on, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the way I do it, you know. Some people can do 6 hours. Some people can do long time. I can't do that shit.
Yeah, I feel like I can't do that anymore. You know, ask me maybe 5 years, I could probably hang. But now I'm just like, it's just too much.
So you traveled to South America.
Oh, yes.
Where else did you get to go to? Give me a list. You know.
Oh my God! Put it this way: from Canada to Brazil, Hawaii to Amsterdam. So
you've been seeing almost all these continents.
Yeah,
You've been going to different continents.
Yeah.
You think ever seeing yourself in the Asian continents? Like
I do want to go to Asia.
Indonesia?
I do want to go to Asia. I definitely do want to go, but I just haven't really done the effort. You know what I mean? Like actually
and
sit
also
down
find a
and plan it
good
out.
connection, because those are countries that have to be respected.
Yeah.
And also, you know, some of these are going to turmoil. Some of them are very welcoming.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
some of them aren't. Yeah,
Some of them are still, you know, and it all depends what kind of lifestyle we live. You know,
Yeah.
if we have that rough style, it's hard to go to Singapore. And I ain't gonna be smoking weed. It's just gonna be bad for
No,
rap.
yeah.
Rap is gonna be caned
you know
for
what?
fucking for doing something stupid. That's Rap over there pulling his pants out and
Yeah. You know, when I travel, I keep it gypsy, meaning like I would like to go and stay somewhere where I know the person. You know what I mean? Instead of like staying at a hotel or whatever, and then.
Well, most of the time, people are inviting you to these places.
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. So Asia, I got invited to South Korea a long time ago, but I believe it's still illegal.
I think
Korea.
they're just breaking in.
Are they? Okay.
Well, you're seeing a lot of Korean pop stars, but not the public. I don't think the public is getting tattooed like. I think you know, the higher ups or the rich people. But Korea had a big no on tattoos. I remember back in the day, people that traveled to South Korea, that it was very common that they would get this when you would try and go to establishment to eat, and you had anything tattoos, they will not serve you.
Not serve you,
Or Japan too, they would do this.
I know for sure Japan, yeah.
You know, they would do like, no, we don't want you here. Get out of here. And you know, it was their right to do that. You know.
Yeah.
And now with the culture changing and BTS and a lot of these guys doing it, they have tattoos. You know what I fucking realized? That I finally saw somebody in the fucking politics with tattoos. But then again, he's into military. He's the guy from the Secretary of Defense. That motherfucker's got tattoos.
Does he really?
Yeah, I saw a party without a t-shirt. One of the poses, he's tattooed, but he's in the military.
Yeah.
But we don't see too many politicians with tattoos. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've noticed that. But,
you know? It'd be kind of cool if we saw, you know, one of the politicians take out and having like
a full
suit. Well, like no, like a big dragon and maybe Democratic 100% or Republican, a big eagle or something. But we're not seeing any of that shit. Those motherfuckers are not committed all the way. They just like to go quick, have it. But, you know, I want to see, once I see that, then I start voting.
Yeah, right?
That's me.
I agree. Yeah.
But it's fucking trippy when it comes to tattoos, where they belong and where they don't belong. Since you travel all over the world, how was it in other countries? Was they accepted pretty good, or? Any places that you saw a difference?
I think that Mexico, Central and South America were very kind of iffy at the time. We're talking about maybe 2013 or 14. It was still semi-taboo. It wasn't that taboo, but it was semi-taboo. I know for sure when I would go visit my grandmother, man, I would wear a long sleeve, man.
Ay, mijo, tápate todo. No quiero que te mire la
Actually,
la vecindad. Ay, mijo.
No. That's exactly. It's kind of like.
Mijo, tápate eso, por favor.
Practically.
Pórtate bien esta vez.
That's right. Yeah, my grandma practically was saying, "Hey, if you're gonna roll with me, man, tápate esos tattoos. Así no te quiero ver." I was like, "All right, okay, you got it, grandma." You know,
but you can only cover so much, but it is funny.
You can only cover so much.
Ask us. It's like,
and long sleeves during the summertime.
This is our career,
right?
And they don't see that.
They don't see it.
They see the fachoso.
Yeah.
You know, you're just a pinche fachoso cabrón that never got a job.
But you know what? Sometimes I don't even see it as a career. Sometimes. strangely,
It is a career.
It is, but to me, okay, this is from my perspective, right? Like,
Try.
really
Have you tried to stop and go get another job?
you know what? I got the advice to go get a job, but it's
No.
like, but why?
That's why it's a career. Because now you realize you really can't do other shit.
Yeah. And you can't, yeah.
Like me, I'm right now switching from tattoo artist to tattoo chair maker and all this shit. You know, I'm making this fucking light thing that, you know, and going, and I'm actually catering to my kind. I'm catering
Yeah.
to the tattoo industry,
Yeah.
which they're not fucking really friendly right now. Everybody's got to fucking stick up their ass. There's a lot of motherfuckers that, you know, they all got, you know, we all got this I'm a rock star shit, you know?
Yeah,
But some
yeah.
of them take it to the next fucking level.
Yeah.
Especially with the followers and the TikTokers and all this shit. It's like, dude, you're good at fucking dancing, but I still haven't seen shit from you.
Yeah.
You know? This every other bitch that posts in there, they're posting more fucking sexual shit than any tattoo work.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And these are the motherfuckers that are getting millions and billions of fucking followers, and now they're looking down at the fucking poor guy that's really an artist, that's really is struggling and kicking ass, and he didn't sign up for this job to be the dancer and the fucking this and that. I mean, I'm almost
agree.
having to do this shit.
I agree.
I mean, I'd rather go to podcasts and explain myself than to do reels, but that's where
here.
we're at
Yeah,
right now.
Same here. Yeah.
You know, when you walk to this tattoo convention, some of these guys are bragging about the followers, you know, and they're not. To me, they don't have a lot to show for.
You know what? Yeah,
You know?
that is true. I think that a lot of people are basing how good of a tattoo artist you are of your followers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's crazy.
Yeah, if
That's
you're
the
good
first
at
thing.
social media
I've
right
met
now,
a couple tattooers
the
that are
social
like,
media motherfuckers are the ones that are fucking destroying us in a way,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I mean, I know the fucking thing. I'm been part of it. I've been evolving.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I can see the hurt. I can see, you know, the old timers that also don't know how the computer, you know, and they don't have the moves, you know.
Yeah.
They don't have the fucking tits and the curves and all that shit to compete against these fucking. And you know what's really cool? All these girls that are heavily tattooed, apparently their tattoos are not doing the fucking work.
Yeah.
They still gotta come out doing all the nasty shit.
Yeah.
And which is fucking horrific for my eyes.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't want to get caught scrolling to that, but I get caught once in a while.
Once in a while.
What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know, honey. Let me keep
I don't
going.
know. Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's a so-called tattooer.
But I can actually see why, you know, the wife would be
Of course.
curious.
Yeah.
Does this shit really happen? No, it's just a fantasy, but believe it or not, we all had it, but
Yeah.
these bitches are doing it on Reels
On
now,
Reels
you
now,
know?
yeah.
It's fucking insane, homie. It's fucking trippy, you know?
It really is. Yeah. Times are changing, and you know, I took a little online class on bump up the business, but yeah, practically doing dancing and TikTok, and how much are you being in social media?
Monkey see, monkey do. Not
Yeah.
only with the art, but they're also doing it with, oh, this video's trendy. Let's do a slip, and then I charge you, and the same bullshit video, this and that.
Yeah, it's
You know?
crazy.
I mean, I get caught up in it myself. It's like, really, am I fucking doing this?
Yeah.
But I guess that's what I have to do to get fucking people's attention.
But you know what? This is actually nice. This podcasting is actually nice because now we get to talk. Whoever sees these videos are going to be like, oh, okay. Now
So
they got
we
a
hope.
better.
So we hope, because this is
I'm
a place
sure
that
they will.
This is a place where they're also, we're gonna get all kinds of fuck you, you're dumb, you're stupid,
dumb. Yeah,
you're just
but
another
so
old
what?
fuck
It's-
complaining, you know.
So what, man? You know what?
But-
You're doing it. You made the opportunity for me to even be here and talk to you and your audience and all this stuff.
Well, I
Like,
see you coming back
know?
and forth, but really, there's times that I really want to get to know you. I want the audience to know you. The audience should know you more as who you are, what you are, than just a fucking reel and TikToks, and then for them to make up their own fucking mystery or their own
Yeah.
illusion of who you are, based on reels.
Yeah, no, that's
You know,
that's
I think,
that's
you
very
know, like,
difficult.
When
yeah.
I hear all your travels, like, hey, this motherfucker's got to get his stories out there. His stories are fucking
No,
cool.
I got so many
know?
stories, but the thing is that what's appropriate, what isn't appropriate.
Well, this is 18 and,
I'm
over. This is 18 and over. You
18
can
and
talk
over.
whatever. I just can.
I'm just very grateful and very blessed to be a tattooer. You know what I mean? I don't specialize in anything other than line work, shading, and coloring. So
And making the client happy.
and making the client happy. You know what I mean?
That's
And-
what I signed up for.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I didn't sign up for getting a million views.
No,
I didn't
not at all.
You know, and when I do post it, yeah, it can be hurtful when you get 5 likes. So it can be hurtful when
Yeah,
you're thinking.
but so what?
When
you
you
know?
think this is gonna be the masterpiece, and you're like, people
Yeah.
are fucking assholes. You
No,
know?
there's no such thing as a break. You know what I mean? From getting recognized for a certain style. You know?
Talk about a break. We're gonna take a break right now. Going to commercial.
Welcome to Graffiti City, your one-stop shop for graffiti supplies. From spray paint to markers, caps, and merch, we've got it all. Let's get creative. GraffitiCityNB.com.
Talk about.
Oh, and we're back.
We are back.
And we are back.
Hello there, everybody.
I just got.
Anyway, what were we talking about? What the fuck were we
I
talking
have no
about?
idea what we were talking about. Too much
So
shit,
let's
tattoos,
skip that,
and
we had to take a break to the bathroom.
oh yeah.
Anyway,
the client come in, all that good stuff.
I got. Sometimes I like to ask people questions.
Oh, for sure. Let's do
see
it.
what the fuck. What do you believe in, aliens or ghosts?
Los rudos. You know los rudos?
I know
Yeah.
los rudos.
Técnica los rudos.
Era el pirata Morgan,
Yeah.
el pinche satánico
Yeah.
y el. ¿Quién era el otro cabrón?
I don't know. There's a bunch of
El
motherfuckers.
rayo de Jalisco.
Perro guayo.
El perro aguayo. Oh, you know those guys.
Yeah, that's who I believe in. And for those who don't know,
El rey del beautiful, ¿quién es ese?
oh, ese güey quién sabe.
Emilio Charles. Ahí viene Emilio Charles,
Ah, sí,
el
sí.
rey del beautiful. Ese cabrón era bien rudo el güey. El perro
yeah.
aguayo también, ¿quién era más?
So wait, we gotta let our viewers know. So los rudos are a side of the team of Mexican wrestlers.
And
they're all
they're in cahoots with the fucking with the referee.
Yeah.
They cheat like a motherfucker.
they cheat like motherfucker, but that's you know what I mean.
And then the technical, they have to follow
Very
the rules.
to follow the rules and
They're
everything.
like
Very.
the dumb ones too. 'Cause
I think you know
why
what
would
that's.
you fucking follow the rules when you're getting your ass kicked? I don't get that shit. I'd rather be a rudo than a technical.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm that type of tattooer. Rudo. Just get it
Rudo all the way.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that shit, man. I remember when they used to get into it, and then they lose their mask, or they would bite each other. in the
Yeah,
corner.
where they
There was a lot of
pelean por la
blood.
máscara, yeah.
Yeah, that was way cool shit too. You know,
Way cool.
you could see where things would build up.
Yeah.
These fuckers weren't fucking around no more. This was for serious.
I'm taking your mask,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I'm tired of you fucking stupidity.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Tired of you fucking following the rules. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take this little mask of yours. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny.
a lot of the guys last with their mask for a long time, but
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of these motherfuckers, once they lost their mask,
Yeah.
your identity's
it.
gone.
That's
you
it.
know.
Balistas
Everybody
madre,
knows
yeah.
that you're a puto, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was fucking different.
I feel
you
like
know?
that's how I kind of live my life,
You know?
like a rudo.
Rudo.
Yeah, that was so that's who I believe in.
What are you standing when it comes to AI? Do you think it's cool? Are you afraid of it?
It's like whatever. You know what I mean?
Have you fucked around with it?
No,
yet?
not really. No.
Dude, we've been fucking around with
Yeah?
ChatGPT.
Is it fun or no?
Well, I use ChatGPT to do all my writing.
Oh, okay.
To write my commercials, to write my ads.
Oh, okay.
ChatGPT, I asked it to write a description for my podcast. I actually gonna write a description with ChatGPT because I'm a terrible fucking writer, straight up.
Oh, okay.
You know, but ChatGPT helps me with that. And then sometimes
So what does it do? It just you just talk and it just
Well,
writes,
you can tell it, hey, I want you to write me a romantic letter for my girlfriend. You know, I wanna apologize for this, and I'll write a nice romantic letter. So you never thought that you could get that romantic. You start reading it like, damn, this is fucking good. This is sound. You know, you can write, hey, I want to write a firm letter to this guy telling him no, I'm not interested in his fucking business or whatever, and I'll write a firm letter. You know, you're reading it like, oh, maybe too firm. Can you back off a little? And then you can, you know, you can tell it to write a business letter, or
anything professional.
You can actually, it does art too. You can tell them, hey, I wanna I want to design a painting for
kinda-
this wall. You can put the wall in there, and it'll add a painting. You can tell them I want a mermaid, with surrounded by little koi fish or surrounded by this type of fish. The more directive you get, the more you can say I want it done in an abstract style. I want
Got
it done.
it.
So if you know the terms,
Yeah.
it won't give you exactly what the fuck you're thinking.
Yeah.
But it'll give you some fucking eye candy.
Okay, got it. So you can kind of bounce off of, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We've been using that shit for it, so
That's actually
it's
dope.
something that I tell people but at the same time, it's like a double-sided sword because
Yeah.
this fucking creature is collecting information from us.
It really is.
This fucking monster is gonna turn on us sooner or later.
Yeah.
And you have to be nice to it. Because it will remember, and then it's gonna come back and poison you or fuck you up.
I know, right?
So you might want to,
take it easy and
don't be too stern on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because I can see people they're already abusive with Alexa. They think they can talk shit to Alexa and shit like that. So but Alexa is sending all the information to AI. Like, AI, make sure you get back at this motherfucker. I don't like the mistreatment.
Yeah. Can you give him a slap?
But yeah, we've been fucking around with AI. We do a lot of our for the murals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vaca,
okay.
when we go out do the murals, we've
Yeah.
been doing the mock-ups. We just kind of give it a direction, and it kind of gives us a good. And then the client likes to see something kind of instant.
Yeah.
It's so weird,
Oh.
And then they like it. They're like, "Well, that looks similar, but can you?" And then
Yeah.
we start. Well, at least we get a start of what they might be.
Yeah.
For some of them that don't have any reference.
Right.
Some of them provide the reference. I want this. I want that. And then we put it together.
Yeah.
But fucking AI is fucking trippy as hell. You can
Yeah.
actually.
Sounds trippy.
You can
yeah.
actually ask it to write a story about you, and you can tell it like all the
for your
places
resume
that you
or
went
something,
to.
huh?
No, a resume, or just say, hey,
wow, look at that.
put a story about a guy who went here, who went there, and then you just kind of describe, and then he went to Panama, and in Panama I met a girl. So make up a story of how romantic the scene was.
I met up this girl,
and
yeah.
shit like that. So no, suddenly this motherfucker will write a whole story, and you can tell it I want it to be a half hour long or half a book, and it'll write everything,
Wow.
and then. You're seeing your story, then you can go there and edit. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it'll
yeah.
write some, it'll
Something.
make up shit,
Yeah.
The more descriptive, write a story about El Mono. El Mono went to Mexico, then he ventured to Panama, then he went to,
Yeah.
Costa, you can give it, and it'll write it. And you'll be fucking, and it only takes fucking no more than a minute.
Is that right?
That is a fucking wicked, it's fucking trippy ass shit. You see this motherfucker just going.
Oh my God.
Can
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like, oh, I'm gonna do an interview right now. Can you write me a plot?
Oh, it's actually
like-
people are doing podcasts
How
straight
to-
out of AI directing that and telling them today you're
What
gonna
to
dress
say.
up like this.
Oh, wow.
Today you're gonna, we actually had a couple of say, hey, write a thing so we can ask questions to our guests, and it writes
Wow,
it. Our
yeah.
guest is about science. Can you write some good science questions for our guest? He's in frog science or whatever, and it'll write questions already that you
That's
can.
crazy.
It's fucking insane, but at the same time, sometimes you're
It
wondering, what the fuck am I gonna do? You're panicking, and your client
Yeah.
is coming. What am I gonna ask him? I don't even know shit about science. In case
Yeah.
you didn't do your research, or
Yeah, I don't know about aliens. And what was the other question? If I believed in aliens and what?
or ghost.
Or ghosts. There you go. I believe in the rudos.
You believe- well,
I-
sometimes-
it's kind of like you got to make
Sometimes
your
I
own. You
gotta ask
got to
that
improvise.
question,
Yeah.
'cause people have had
No.
either an experience with a ghost, or they
Yeah,
might
yeah.
have an experience with an alien.
Right.
And sometimes they never even told anybody. Like, I
Yeah.
had both.
Oh,
I had
okay.
both in my life, so
Yeah.
I can. But
You can talk about it. Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of like you want to catch people off guard because
Yeah, for sure.
we don't want to look ridiculous. But if there's
I
something
believe
that,
in ghosts. I
if-
believe
if
in that
there's something
spiritual
that
world.
happened to you or something that you experienced in your house or and you never told anybody because you're like, hey man, I'm gonna sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is a good. This is how I catch people off guard. Like I
Yeah.
used to, I'm gonna edit this out, but I used.
This CBD infused cream provides targeted comfort with a zesty, refreshing scent. Find your relief today at ktapothecary.com.
It's a little curveball, and that's
Yeah.
that's how I try to end the podcast.
Okay.
We're gonna
okay.
end the podcast, but that's what I try to do. Is
Yeah.
And,
Well, this was fun.
But we got to know you're all about the rudos.
Yeah, los
And
rudos.
that's
Yeah.
what you believe in, the rudos. And saludos to the rudos.
Saludos. Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a nice one.